It's noon here in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and in New York City, New York. This is CarEdge Live for Thursday, September 4th, with your hosts, me, Ray, in Ventnor City, and, well, Zach, that traveling CEO in New York. How are you today, handsome?
I'm doing pretty good, Pops. How are you doing this morning? Hopefully you can hear me A-okay. Let me know in the chat, Dad.
Are you in your
Very grateful to
hotel
be.
room? But where the hell are you?
I don't know where I am, man, if I'm being honest. So we're just going with it. Hopefully the Wi-Fi is okay. Fingers are crossed. We're doing our best today, folks. We are certainly
Yes.
doing our best. Today's show brought to you by CarEdge.com. Buy a car without the headache. Check it out back at CarEdge.com. Pops, the big story I wanted to talk about this morning is a continuation of something we talked about a little bit yesterday, which would be that we are seeing these EV automakers starting to cut back on their production. I'll start
Yes.
here. General Motors to temporarily cut production of 2 Cadillac EVs in Tennessee. I've also heard, I got to find it here, Pops, the Chevy Bolt also, seeing production cutbacks there as well. And then
And
obviously, yeah.
And yet, Chevrolet or General Motors sold more EVs in a month than they ever had last month. So um, there are certain segments of EV land that are doing really well. And our suspicion is that will end in about 26 days.
Yeah, you can see right here, Dad, GM to cut EV production amid expiring federal tax credits, plan to scale back production of the Chevy Bolt, the Cadillac EVs as well, which we've seen. And then obviously we talked about it yesterday, the Hummer GMC electric vehicle as well. So let's talk about this because there was also the Polestar story yesterday, the nearly
Yes.
$1 billion write down over at Polestar that they are taking a loss for because they're no longer going to bring to market their Polestar 3 electric SUV. So let's talk about this, Dad. America refuses electric vehicles. The automakers are starting to panic. Obviously, it's the month of September. We think EV sales are going to be through the roof. It's what
Yes.
happens after that there's starting to be a lot of concern.
I'd say concern is an understatement. Pessimism is running rampant within the dealership network, both for new and independent dealers. There is a real fear that after having invested millions of dollars into setting up EV networks within these various dealerships to attract the EV buyers, that's all going to wash away in a heartbeat. Um, there hasn't been this type of pessimism towards EVs probably since, I don't know, Tesla first came out. It is remarkable how dealers went from having a positive expectation as to what EV sales would be in the United States in 2021 to it is now a very negative, pessimistic view of where we're headed going into the fourth quarter of this year after the federal tax credits expire.
To your point, Dad, here's the headline in automotive news. Auto dealers reveal record level of gloom about Q4 EV markets, Cox poll finds. And if I scroll down here, Dad, we can see it right here. Dealers have grown more pessimistic about electric vehicles. Cox Automotive's Dealer Sentiment Index surveyed asked 477 franchised and 414 independent dealership professionals, quote, what do you expect the EV market in your area to look like 3 months from now? Index results greater than a 50 indicate respondents view the conditions as positive or improving. A score of 50 is neutral, and scores below 50 indicate conditions are negative or weakening. Cox began asking this question in the second quarter of 2021. Look at that line, Dad. We're at 33 and 28 respectively as the score, down significantly from where we were just a few years ago. I mean, the pessimism, to your point, is palpable.
Oh, it's Listen, a lot of these dealer groups, especially Ford dealers, when Ford announced their big EV initiative, and in order to be able to sell the EVs that Ford was going to build, you needed to invest anywhere from $700,000 to $1.2 million in EV infrastructure at your dealership to have things available for your EV customers. You could either go with the lower tier and be guaranteed 25 new EVs to sell a year, or you could go with the higher tier at the 1.2 million and receive all the EVs you could ever want. So we went from that to where Ford then said, the hell with that program. Any dealer that wants EVs can have them. And now the dealers are saying, hell, not only won't we want them come October 1st, we don't think the American public is going to be willing to buy them come October 1st without all of the incentives. Now, the one thing that stands opposite of all that would appear to be Tesla. Their sales they're off to some degree. They're not having the same zest that they had in the past, but they are still far outselling every other EV manufacturer, especially in this country. So will that continue for Tesla? Will the bloom come off the bud starting in October, even for Tesla? That's something that I think everybody's waiting to see. And I know there will be comments that will say, but there was a time when Teslas were selling really well and they didn't qualify for the federal tax credits anyway because they had exceeded their maximum sales levels. So I don't know. I think it's a wait and see approach. If I were the manufacturers, I think I'd be doing what they're doing now, which is cutting back on EVs, because you have to believe without that $7,500 that demand is going to crater to some degree.
That's what Cox Automotive thinks. Quote, October could be rough for EVs, Cox economist says. That's the headline or the subheading in the article in Automotive News. I'll just read briefly here. Quote, there has to be a hangover effect, Jonathan Smoke said, but it's possible year-end EV offers could keep the slump from ruining the entire quarter. He said, I'm definitely in the camp that if you have a longer time horizon, this isn't going to be much of a speed bump for EVs, he said, citing areas of the country with EVs in operation due for replacement. State incentives for EVs also could expand. He said, but I don't feel good about October, is what Jonathan Smoke said. And I think he's on to something there, Pops.
Listen, there's going to be so much pull ahead purchases and leases for EVs into September that there just should be like people are just barely waking up for like a long sleep and they're not ready to go out and buy an EV in October. And the other thing that he said in there, well, maybe to some degree, states will pick up the slack as far as types of incentives are concerned. I don't know. I have to believe right now, and I'm not an economist. I'm not even I'm a college dropout. Okay,
there we go.
I'm a college dropout, and damn proud of it, ladies and gentlemen. But I have to believe that states are running into economic issues that they had not anticipated. There have been so many federal cutbacks in programs that whatever money states could have found that could have gone to EV incentives, I think those funds will have to go elsewhere in order to keep other things alive and moving the way the public has grown accustomed to it. So I don't really.
You don't see states stepping up to fill a $7,500.
I don't think they have the funds to do it. Yeah. I mean, legitimate. At some point, you have to look around and you go, where the hell's the money coming from?
Funds and also interest. Like, what's the incentive at the state level to do that? I don't think it's really there. Dad, let's switch gears. Let's talk a little bit about the month that has come and gone, because it does tie into what we're seeing on EVs. You mentioned it a moment ago. General Motors posted the best performance they've ever had from an EV perspective. And if I come over here to Automotive News, one of the key takeaways from Ford's monthly reporting is that they also saw a tremendous boost in their Mach-E deliveries. We're also going to talk about Toyota and Lexus here as well. They continue to shine. But Dad, you can see here, forecasters say that we saw an increase in August because we were helped with Labor Day deals and a surge in electric vehicle demand. I think what's fascinating here is really what we're seeing with the Mustang Mach-E. So Ford saw their trucks and crossover sales improve by 6.2%, led by the Bronco, Expedition, Explorer, and F-Series sales actually declined 3.4%. But then look at Mustang Mach-E deliveries, up 35% year over year for that month. So we're seeing the pull ahead in the data here.
I believe in my heart of hearts that this is going to be one of the most unusual years in retail automotive. And what I mean by that is because of all the tariff talk, we had huge pull ahead in sales in the first quarter of this year and into the second quarter, where people were trying to get ahead of price increases that could come to fruition because of the tariffs. So there was a tremendous increase in sales volumes in April and May and June. And then we anticipated that there would be somewhat of a slowdown, and there has been a little bit of a slowdown. But now, because the EV tax credits are going to go away the end of September, that there's been this push in August, and we'll see it for this month, of a pull ahead for EV buyers. People that might have been in the market in October, November, December were suddenly finding themselves in the market in August and September in order to take advantage of that federal tax credit. So there are so many factors that have increased the amount of sales that we've seen and moved them to different times within the year that I wonder what 2026 is going to look like if we don't have these pushes and pulls on people's behavior when it comes to tariffs, tax incentives, or whatever else. I just think I think 2025 is going to be an anomaly and one of the most unusual years we've ever seen in the industry.
Definitely puts into perspective for those of you that are thinking about or shopping for a vehicle. You've got to stay on top of what's going on in the news because it can totally change when you're going to get a better deal or a worse deal. If you are not informed right now and you're going into the market to lease a new electric vehicle in October, $7,500 is a lot of money. Doesn't matter who you are. $7,500, a lot of money. And to your point, that earlier this year, there were also the tariffs. Last year and in prior years, there's been huge seasonality in the used car market as a result of the chip shortage. So I'm with you, but then I wouldn't be surprised, Dad. You and I have been doing this for 5, almost 6 years now. There'll be something in 2026, some sort of black swan event that changes everything in the car market again. And you know what? Even if it doesn't happen, I'm sure we'll come up with something to speak it into existence. Now, one manufacturer that is doing well amidst everything that's going on, Dad, would be Toyota. Look at this, Dad. Toyota sales were up 13.6% year over year, 12.4% for Lexus and 13.8% for Toyota. So the brand overall 13.6%. Let's talk about this.
Is that for August?
Yeah, year over year for the month of August.
Wow.
So let's talk about this for a second, Dad. Toyota is killing it. Like, just continues to kill it. I mean, even look at this. Subaru had another down month. Subaru didn't used to have down months year over year. Mazda down month. Hyundai, Kia up, as you can see here as well, almost 11%. But Toyota selling the most cars, growing the fastest, and obviously the dealers have the most pricing power. So it's so interesting month in and month out to just see Toyota continue to crush it. And they're actually, to our point about America refuses electric vehicles, if I'm not mistaken, they're the automaker that leaned in the least when it comes to EVs.
They were, they leaned in the most when it came to hybrid technology, and really made that the forefront of what it is that they thought the future held. When they first came out with the Prius, and they've been able to maximize that technology and put it into more and more of their vehicles, and use it as that bridge to eventually perhaps get to full electric battery electric vehicles. It is Toyota. Nobody has figured out how to do it better than Toyota when it comes to having created a reputation for itself, which has been taking hits recently as far as reliability and the quality of their vehicles. But nobody has done a better job of navigating that, navigating production so that there is just enough production to barely cover the demand, and to do it in such a way that there's never more than a 30 to 40 day supply of vehicles at their dealership facilities. So they have found the secret sauce that, well, Nissan would certainly like to have, and others, to where they have basically put monetary printing presses in every Toyota franchise dealership. Okay, those dealers are making money hand over fist because there's barely enough cars. There's more than enough customers. The demand outstrips the supply. The dealers are less aggressive than they've ever been. It is remarkable what they have been able to accomplish that others have not. And are they smarter than everybody else? Apparently, at least marketing wise, they must be.
Dad, you want to hear something pretty cool? In the past week, our AI negotiator has gotten 216 new Toyota out the door quotes, okay? Yeah. From the first pencil to the last pencil, what do you think the average savings is that the AI has been able to negotiate on new Toyotas?
$650.
$220, okay?
Whoa,
I'm going to share this on the screen. $220. Now I'm going to do the same thing for Ford, Dad. For Ford, AI negotiator reaching out to Ford dealers, what do you think the average savings is from the first OTD to the last OTD for Ford?
$3,000.
I wish it was $3,000, man. $1,000, $987. It's over 3 times that of what
almost
you get at a
four
Toyota.
Times.
Almost 4 times what you get at Toyota. So think about that for a second here. To your point, we're getting structured, organized data on this now. And it's like, just the Toyota dealers have so much pricing power. And again, I do think it goes back to they did not go all in on EVs. And I saw Justin put it in the chat here as well. Right now, they actually have a 5 days supply of that BZ4X in the market. So even the one EV that they do have, they've done a great job managing supply there. And then, of course, you look at the year over year sales numbers. They have the most vehicles sold and they're growing the fastest. That's a hell of a 1-2 punch.
It is. It just proves that nobody does it better. Nobody has figured out how to do it better. And there was a time when the monetary printing presses were at the BMW dealerships, because BMW dealers were making money hand over fist. But today, it really is at Toyota dealerships. I mean, if the average additional discount that the AI agents can get is a little over $200 from start to finish, where it's almost $1,000 at Ford. I mean, that just gives you some idea as to how non-aggressive the Toyota dealer has to be with the first offer, and how the fact that there isn't an even greater than $1,000 difference between the first and the last at Ford is because Ford dealers feel as if they have to be more aggressive with their first offer than other brands would be.
Yeah, it's absolutely mind-boggling. Dad, let's come here to the chat. We've had a thoughtful contribution come through from Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. I think certain areas will be affected more than others. Like here in bigger cities in California, charging stations are common, but thinking of areas where stations are less common. So this is back to Americans refusing electric vehicles. I think Andrew's spot on. We've tons of research that talks about range anxiety. Can I actually charge somewhere? Heck, man, I had the Mazda CX-90 PHEV for a week. I couldn't charge it a single time. They delivered it to me with no charging for the EV component. I tried to charge it in one place, wouldn't work. It's tricky.
Well, and EV sales, whether my supposition is that the new car franchise dealers that were at like 33% being pessimistic, they were in places other than California. Okay, there are certain pockets of this country where EVs have sold and probably will continue to sell well because of the infrastructure, not only because of the federal tax credit incentives, but state incentives. I believe Oregon has some pretty hefty state incentives. I believe Washington State, Colorado have some hefty incentives. I'm pretty sure California must. So it is, there are certain states where you're always going to sell a higher percentage of EVs than other states, just because in some states, people are more willing to look at and adopt new technologies as opposed to some other states where they're less likely to be open to something like that.
Yeah, and I forget if we mentioned this the other day, but Volkswagen's also doing pullback on their EV production as well. So it's state specific, it's automaker specific, but the general trend here is there's a slowdown coming to that part of the market. And again, makes the folks over at Toyota look like total geniuses right now. Dad, let's come here from Boricua. Thank you for this. Hi, always nice to see you guys. I'm having a hard time getting a good lease on a Honda Prologue in Connecticut. Help. By the way, I love your dad talks to you. It's so cool. Great dad. I agree. He is a great dad. Pops, this is a friendly reminder to everyone that tunes into these shows and everyone in the CarEdge community. We offer all sorts of car buying services back on our website, CarEdge.com. 20% off CarEdge Insights, which can help you get that lease deal, or our car buying, which are also car leasing services. They're 20% off for a few more days here, so take advantage of that. We also do have the AI, which can reach out to dealerships on your behalf too. You can access that from the CarEdge Car Search as well. So I would just say we've got tools, we've got services, we're here to help. And look at this, Dad. We've got this from Labrador Country. Hello, Ray and Zach. I bought the Insights as well as the AI Negotiator for the month. I have to say, well done to you guys and your whole team for putting this together. The AI got one dealer down $9,000 and it kept asking for more. My wife and I decided on a different vehicle, but that was amazing to read the back and forth between the dealer and the AI. It's pretty magical, man. When it works, it really works. And then you take over and you transact. It's a pretty cool experience.
Well, here's the thing with the AI, at least at this point. It doesn't suffer from emotions. Okay. No. There's no fear in asking for more because it doesn't know any better. Okay.
Its one job is to operate on your behalf to get you the best deal. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So there's like no built-in bias or fear of missing out. They're just going to keep asking. It's just going to keep asking until it realizes it's asked as many times as it can, and the dealer can no longer afford to give up anymore. So it's pretty remarkable because it takes all of the emotion out of it. Every one of us as human beings, when we're purchasing something, when we're spending money, there's emotions attached to it. And so when you're going back and forth with a dealer trying to get an out the door price, at a certain point when the dealer says, oh, really, there's no more to give, and the next email I get will be somebody that wants to buy it, suddenly that triggers the emotion of the fear of missing out on what the dealer has suggested is a great deal. Well, the AI agent doesn't suffer from any of that. Okay, it doesn't know from that. It just knows that I think I can get more, and it's going to keep asking. And so that is one of the most wonderful aspects of the AI agent. It doesn't allow emotions to interfere with what it's trying to do. I bet you, there are probably some of the emails that go back and forth. Somebody at a dealership is probably doing its best to take shots at the AI agent, thinking it's going to insult it, and the AI agent just really doesn't give a damn.
I think you're onto something, Pops. I think you really are. Hey, one more note when it comes to our EV headliner for today, Dad. VinFast, did you see this? Their quarterly loss widens amid heavy spending on ambitious growth strategy. Did you get a chance to peek at this?
So I did not, because to me, like their ambitious growth strategy might be going from one dealership to two. Okay, I don't believe there's any other EV manufacturer out there that is as much of an afterthought as VinFast is at this particular moment in time. The only other brand that I can think of that would be an afterthought like that was Fisker. Because VinFast has been threatening to sell EVs or lease EVs or do whatever the hell they wanted to do with EVs in this country for the longest period of time. They were going to sell direct. They were going to create a dealer network. They were not. It's like nobody knows anything about VinFast. VinFast doesn't know anything about VinFast. It is the most nondescript, unheard of EV manufacturer trying their best to sell 2 or 3 EVs a month in this country. I'm sorry, and that's in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Pops. Excuse me. The EV automaker, or whoever they are, reported a net loss of $812 million for the quarter, 15% more than the previous quarter. They did deliver, Dad, 35,837 vehicles in the quarter, which
is that worldwide?
Yeah. That is.
That ain't in this country.
No, but Dad,
like,
I mean,
537 might have been in this country.
They're losing. What's that? Let's run rate that. 800 million times 4, $3.2 billion a year.
They're right up there with Lucid.
With Lucid.
Yeah. I know a guy that if you pay him enough, he can show you how to lose even more. Mr. Rollinson, I'm sure, would make himself available because VinFast is supposed to be a very, very, very wealthy company. And let's face it, who doesn't, when you think EV, okay, who doesn't say to themselves, I'm going to Vietnam for that? I mean, really, who has not said that Vietnam is the EV cutting technology capital of the world? Okay, nobody, in my opinion, nobody ever jumps to that conclusion. It was like when the Yugo came out, were people supposed to suddenly think that, oh yeah, well, if I want to get really great up-to-date automotive technology, I'm going to Yugoslavia? That wasn't the case, and it's not the case with VinFast. I mean, God bless them. I'm glad they have as much money as they have, and sometimes it's really impressive how much money companies are willing to lose in order to make themselves seem bigger and better than they really are, in my opinion. Keep the lawyers off my back.
You're crushing it today, Pops. We've got from Charles. Can we move on from talking about EVs? I know it's news, but it's the same news. Hey, today's show is what it's about. Tomorrow, obviously, we'll be back with something different. Appreciate you tuning in, though, Charles. And from Labrador saying, I had to stop because the AI asked for another $1,000 off and a few months of oil changes and other maintenance. Who knows if it would have gotten it or not. Again, so fun what we've been able to build and how it's helping people back at CarEdge.com. Again, friendly reminder, if we can help you in any way, check it out back on the website, CarEdge.com. And remember, even if you're not in the market to buy a car, but you just like hanging out with us, you can track your vehicle value. Just click on What's My Car Worth, and you can see a projected future value, as well as when to potentially sell your vehicle back on CarEdge.com. Click on What's My Car Worth. We can help you save money with insurance, warranty, all that fun stuff as well. Pops, let's call it a show.
Okay.
I'll be back in Washington, D.C. tomorrow, my normal studio, not sitting here wherever the heck I am. So looking forward to doing that in our normal environments.
Oh my goodness. Are you training back today or tomorrow morning?
6:30 a.m. train tomorrow.
What time's that get you into DC? Around 9:30?
9:30. Yeah.
Oh, well, that gives you plenty of time to get home, get changed, get showered, well, you don't really shave, get showered, get shaved. And make your way to the studio. Oh, I am so looking forward to it. Oh, and for everybody out there that happens to be an NFL football fan, the season kicks off tonight, ladies and gentlemen, not too far from where I am, about 60 miles from where I am at the Link in Philadelphia. It's going to be crazy. Fly, Eagles, fly. There you have it.
Happy NFL season, folks. All right, Pops, I love you. Enjoy the day, and I'm sure I'll talk to you later on. Or if not, I'll catch you tomorrow.
Absolutely. Love you too. And see everybody back here tomorrow at noon Eastern in Ventnor City, New Jersey, and Washington, D.C.